Hello and welcome to the SCI POW episode. SCI what, you say? POW! Like in a comic containing superheroes, because this episode is about science as a superpower. Kinda random, I'm aware, but it actually started from my guest, Dr. Haseltine, who wrote a book called Science as a Superpower. And then we rolled with it and landed in some pretty awesome directions. Want to ride with us? Well, you know how it goes. I'm your host, Ari Kelly, and this is At Your Level. So, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, William Haseltine. I'm chairman and president of Access Health International and the author of Science as a Superpower.
Can you give me examples of scientific superpowers?
So if you think about what a superpower is, it means that one person has the power to save the world. And science is a way to give real people, not cartoon characters, real people, the power to save the world. Let's give you one example that I think of that saved my own life. That's Alexander Fleming, who realized that common bread mold could produce a substance, penicillin, that could treat bacterial infections and save people who would have died. When I was 4 months old, my mom tells me that I had pneumonia and I was very, very ill and probably would have died. But she was able to persuade the military doctors to give me penicillin, and I lived. And it saved hundreds of millions of people all over the world. And throughout my life, there have been other instances like that. For example, when I was your age, there was polio everywhere. And we couldn't go out to a pool. We couldn't go out with friends. We couldn't go to a theater. And then I had friends who got polio. None of them died, fortunately, but some of them got pretty sick. So all of this are people who really have saved the world many times over. Those are scientists. And it's still going on. So it really is a superpower.
Yeah. What are some upcoming superpowers that scientists are figuring out?
Well, one of them is how to get free energy. I saw an article today, Igniting the Heart of the Sun. So we know that the sun is a source of massive energy for us, but we haven't harnessed it yet. We can split atoms. We can't fuse them yet. But I think we're on the brink in the next few years, certainly in your lifetime, doing that. And if we do that, we'll have a clean energy source. Doesn't produce the same kind of radioactivity that nuclear reactors do today. It produces helium. You take hydrogen, you put it together, it makes helium. And neither hydrogen or helium are pretty harmless. And that would be just a super one.
So now we have a game. So I'm going to name a fictional superhero. And I want you to A, name their superpower, and B, tell me how close science is to making it possible. You ready?
Right.
All right. Superman.
I've always wondered about Superman in a couple of things. First of all, how he could actually kiss his girlfriends. Because if bullets bounced off him, what would a girlfriend feel like? So that's what I always wondered about. But in terms of superpower, what we have that's the closest right now are we're developing bodysuits that were originally developed for people who are paraplegic so that they could allow them to control it. And we're now getting to the point where you can think about walking and you can walk.
Oh, that's cool.
But those are also now being used for soldiers to give them the ability to go places and climb places and move faster than they could normally do. So that's a combination of a flash and superpower. Now, in terms of flying, there are jetpacks, but they don't work very well. They're very hard to control and they're pretty dangerous. So it's not impossible. Now, X-ray vision, we have that. We have LiDAR, which can see through things. Satellites can now see through roofs. Oh. They can see through clouds. They can see through forests to find ancient ruins of roads and cities. So some of those powers are real. The power that he has when he fires his eyes, he can burn through things. We have that with lasers. So we are getting incrementally superpowers of that sort.
All right. Invisible Girl.
That's currently it's possible now. There are ways of projecting light in front of you that's actually behind you. So it looks like you're not there. That actually exists today.
That's
it's
really
not,
cool.
yeah, it's not easily doable. It's not a club you can put on, but it does exist.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So human, and this is the last one. Human Torch. Can you name their superpower?
I guess they can turn on the heat and burn up anything they want. Poof.
I guess. So technically that's true. But so
Now,
there's
can we do it?
power.
Of course, any guy with a flamethrower can do that.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But so he has pyrokinesis, which is the power to control fire. So
The control fire.
yeah,
Well,
so
that's
he can.
kind of what I was talking about. We do that. Actually,
Yeah.
what is a steam engine? What is a car engine? It's controlling fire. Set off little explosions in your car, and it pushes the metal rod down,
Mm-hmm.
and that turns your crankshaft, and away that turns your wheels. And
That's
so,
cool.
yes, we have harnessed the power of fire. Now we want to harness the power of the sun. That's what we was talking about when you asked me what I wanted to do or what I thought could be done next. And I think maybe we'll be able to do it.
I got a very special kid I'd like you to meet. His name is Jack, and he loves science so much he has a podcast where he digs into all sorts of interesting topics that usually center around it. Hi, Jack. It's so great to meet you. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Jack and I'm 8 and I'm from England and I absolutely love your podcast.
Thanks. I understand you have a podcast called Jack to the Future. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, that's right. I do have my own podcast and it's about the future of everything and we interview different people and the topics of it could be, maths, science, farming, about helping the planet, plastic problem and all sorts of other ones. I also get people to think about their predictions of the future.
That's really great. Thanks for joining me. So from all the topics you've covered and all your interests, I'm kind of curious. What do you want to be when you grow up? I mean, what's at the top of your list?
The 5 things that I'd like to be when I'm older: an engineer, an inventor, a physicist, a chemist and a biologist.
Cool. There's definitely a lot of science there for sure. Is there one favorite thing in particular you find most interesting?
I don't really have a favourite thing about science, but one of the things I'm really into is the periodic table, and I love it so much that I've even got it on my lunchbox. And something I want to tell you about is quite cool. On the Google app, if you type in the periodic table, if you scroll down, there'll be something that says check out the periodic table, and then you press it, and it'll be an augmented reality screen where you can see the atoms of what they will look like in the physical terms. So that's really, really cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Thanks for having me on your podcast, Ari.
Thank you. It's so great to meet you. Keep on podcasting, and hey, thanks for including my food episode Nerd Out on your show. Bye, Jack.
Bye.
So for you listening, you can check out these atoms, but also don't forget to check out Jack's podcast. It's called Jack to the Future. I'll put a link in the show notes. Next, we came up with a fun game to get your brain thinking about science and superpowers. We were supposed to have a few kids from a STEM class to play this game with, but, well, things don't always come out as planned. So, you know by now, we zig and we zag, and well, here's the deal. I'm going to play this game with you instead. Sound fun? You can yell out SCI or POW for each question. So SCI is if you think it's a science, and POW if you think it's a fictional superpower. Ready? Kinetics. What do you think, SCI or POW? That's a SCI, the study of motion and its causes. Electrokinesis. That is the study of the dynamics of electricity charged fluids. Also science. How are you doing so far? Parapsychology. Also known as telekinesis. So this one's an alleged psychic ability allowing a person to influence a physical system without physical interaction. All POW, no SCI. How about discord? So the word itself means creating noise and chaos. It's also a social media platform. And a song. But is it SCI or POW? That's a crazy, kinda messed up superpower. Luckily, not a science. Next, we have cloning. Did you say psi or POW? Well, it's both. It's a technique scientists use. Yes, real psi, but also a superpower in one of my favorite animes. Electromagnetics. Electromagnetics is a branch of physics involving the study of the electromagnetic force. It's a type of physical interaction that occurs between electrically charged particles. So yes, physics is a science. So psi was the correct answer. Now, Magneto's superpower is the ability to control electromagnetism. What about morphology? Totally sounds like a superpower, right? Like morphing. Believe it or not, morphology is actually a branch of biology. Morphologists deal with the form of living organisms and with relationships between their structures. The very last one, pyrokinesis. That is a definite POW. It is the ability to start fires with your mind, not an actual science. Now, chemistry is a science, and fire itself is the result of a chemical reaction known as combustion. Fun fact, if I could have a superpower, like from a comic, pyrokinesis would be my pick. What would yours be? So I have a not so little announcement I need to make. I'm going to take a break from podcasting. We really are just a kid and his mom making this podcast, and, well, this is a lot of work, and I need to take a break from it. So the next episode is going to be the season finale. The good news is that my mom is going to produce another podcast without me. It's called Mashups, and I will be in one episode. So it's not a total goodbye yet. But yeah, I apologize if I have disappointed anyone. I really just needed a break. Welcome, one and all, to the SCI POW episode's very own Nerdo. I was thinking about the topic of science as a superpower, and I realized how many ways science helps people today. First of all, there are tons of really cool different sciences. I mean, tons of very different kinds of sciences. Like there's chemistry. I imagine big colorful clouds that form when a few chemicals mix. Or biology, which is the study of living things. There are botanists that study plants, and entomologists that study bugs. Gross. And even, what I want to do when I grow up, veterinary science. So like I said earlier, I was thinking about the topic of science as a superpower, and I realized how many ways science helps people today. There are doctors that cure diseases, like Dr. Haseltine told us about. There's also a science about the state of mind and your behavior. It's called psychology. I bet you've heard of it. Imagine you could make yourself happier, make other people happy. Well, scientist Dr. Laurie Santos has that power. She's a psychologist at Yale University who started her own study on, get this, what makes people happy. She also studies animals to learn more about this topic. She even has the Canine Cognition Center, where she studies dogs. This is so up my alley. I learned about this because she is the host of this really cool podcast that my mom listens to called The Happiness Lab. I'm super excited to introduce you to Dr. Laurie Santos.
Hi, Ari. It's great to meet you.
Hello. Can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Dr. Laurie Santos. I'm a professor of psychology at Yale University and host of the Happiness Lab podcast. I understand you listened to my latest episode and that you're nerding out about the science backing up the belief that dogs make us happier.
Sure did.
Let's hear it, Ari.
Okay, so just having a dog or being with a dog doesn't guarantee that they'll make you happy. But according to your research, there are 5 ways they can. Here they are. The first one is exercise. The reason that exercise is on this list is because if you're alone with your dog and you haven't taken it on a walk, it's going to start whimpering, barking, and start to act like someone who has lost their bananas. So you're pretty much forced to take them on walks and hikes. And exercise puts you in a good mood. The second one is mindfulness. What is mindfulness? Well, It's bringing your attention to the present moment, living in the now. When you look at your dog, they always are focusing on treats or the ball they just got, or an egg roll they don't really want you to have, so they bite you. No one? Just me? Okay then. Well, they are just so happy at every little thing in every little moment, and they can't help it but to live in the now. So join them. Up next, we got training. Out of all things to expect, I bet training was one of them. I mean, training your dog could be fun, but it also could be considered a chore. But flip this around. How do you feel when your dog does number 2 on the floor? Or chews up your flip-flops so much until you're walking on what feels like a donut? So if you spend some time training your dog to behave a little nicer, it makes a big difference on how much you enjoy life with your dog. Can you guess what the 4th one is? When you're out with your dog, just walking around, what's bound to happen? You meet people. Dogs are like little people magnets, and other people see your pooch, light up, run up to you, and ask, "Can I pet your dog?" Soon enough, you find yourself talking to them, and maybe even making a new friend. But last but not least, a sense of purpose. When I'm having a bad day and everything seems to be going downhill, I'm in my room, and my dog just comes in and looks at me, maybe hops up to my bed, and it's like she's saying, "Hey there, I care about you." I was actually not that surprised that these activities make you happy, because I know that from my dog Nova. But I guess that scientists aren't the only ones with superpowers. I think maybe our little furry friends are the real heroes. We saved the best for last. It's my super bad dad, the cringiest dad of them all.
Hey, Ari. I got some great jokes for you. They're SCI POW-licious.
Oh, okay, yep.
Let's start with some superhero ones.
Jolly.
Why did Superman never need a babysitter?
Why did Superman never need a babysitter?
Because he always had supervision.
What a nice way to kick things off.
What do heroes like Spider-Man and Ant-Man have in common?
Humana, humana, humana.
They bug the villains.
Ah!
Get it? 'Cause ants and spiders are bugs?
Ah, yes. Thank you, Father. These jokes are always funnier when you explain them.
Ready for the science jokes?
I'm really hoping these jokes are a little bit better.
What type of dogs do chemists own? Laboratory retrievers.
Oh my gosh, really?
What did the thermometer tell the graduated cylinder?
I don't really know.
You may have graduated, but I have more degrees.
Why?
Okay, I got one last joke for you. It's neither science nor superhero flavored, but I do think it's funny.
It better be.
What do you call a fish with no eyes?
I don't know. A fish, a dead-eye fish?
A fish.
You know, that one was pretty good. That was pretty good. I'll give you that. And last, but so not least, here's Jack with an awesome joke. My dad actually tried to tell it too, but Jack does a much better job.
Never trust an atom. They make up everything.
Thanks, Jack. Also, just a quick reminder about our Bad Dad t-shirt competition. If you want to enter, all you need are 2 things. 1, a terrible dad joke, and 2, the best, most amazing, and fabulous reaction you have ever created in your entire life. Seems easy enough, right? Runners-ups, so 2nd and 3rd place, get a free t-shirt. 1st place gets their awful dad joke on the t-shirt. I'm preparing myself at the moment for the cringe that will be those dad jokes. Good luck! Only one thing left, the bizarre ASMR. Dr. Haseltine will be helping me out. Alrighty, so we're going to do the ASMR now. I'm going to send you a link in the chat. to my website.
Okay.
By the way, you guys all know that you can go on my website too. It's just atyourlevelpod.com. All right, so you see that little play button?
Yes.
I want you to play that ASMR.
It's short, right? Like 14 seconds?
It is 14 seconds, and it has something to do with back to school, so school.
I remember the song, School Days, good old bro.
I can kind of hear this. I'll play it now. Can you hear anything? Or did you hear anything?
Nope.
Did you hear the Back to School Bazaar ASMR? Can you guess what it is? Okay, so let's just go with a guess. It has something to do with back to school, and you write with this thing.
Pen or a stylus?
Wait, what?
Pencil, pen, or stylus?
Okay, it is one of those things.
Or keyboard.
But you were doing something to that pencil, pen, or stylus.
Pushing it. You pen pusher.
Yeah, okay, so you think it's a pen pusher?
Well, that's what a pen pusher. Yeah, that's what you do with a pen.
Yeah, but so
Or
what do you...
erase. You can erase?
Yes, you can erase. Yes, that is true.
Right? You can clean your ear. Shouldn't, but you can.
You can.
And, jab your friend.
All of those things is true.
You can chew it.
There you go. That is the answer.
Chew it.
Chewing on a pencil. I tried chewing on this pencil.
I've chewed on pencils before.
So have I.
I end up my pencils with all these teeth marks on them, and then I try to figure out if they're mine or somebody else's.
Yep. It always grossed me out at a thought of you, like me or you, probably me, yeah. Chewing on a pencil, leaving it somewhere, and then somebody else grabbing it, chewing it, and giving it back.
I would not advise that in this time of COVID.
Yeah. All right. So let's try with a different ASMR. You see the SCI POW? You see
Bizarre. Yeah, I see it.
SCI POW?
Bizarre ASMRs. Yeah.
SCI POW.
SCI POW. Yes, I see it.
Okay. So is it?
The noise. I'm supposed to guess what that noise is?
Exactly. And so are you. So if you want to send me your guess of the SCI POW Bazaar ASMR, here it is. So yeah, you can record and email to atyourlevelpod@gmail.com. It might take me some time, but I read and respond to every email. I'd like to thank you all for listening. I genuinely hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank Dr. Haseltine for being such a wonderful guest. I really enjoyed our time on Zoom. Keep on crusading for science to improve our lives. Listeners, if you want to check out his book, Science as a Superpower, you know it. I put a link in the show notes. Thank you, Dr. Laurie Santos. We couldn't believe you were so kind to collaborate with us. We think the Happiness Lab is one of the best podcasts out there, for kids and adults. We love learning from you. I hope one day I get to meet you in person, maybe with Nova. A big shout out over the pond to Jack. Thank you, Jack, of Jack to the Future. It was awesome connecting with you. Finally, I'd like to add a big old thank you to my big bad dad. My mom, thank you for being the best mom and for making atyourlevelpod.com. Thanks also for producing this pod. I think we make a really great squad. Thanks, Ben, right here in Mass. Thank you for playing all that brass. Oh, brother dear, you satin grass. Whatever else could rhyme with brass? And you, my friends, near and far, are you listening to me in the car? Or in your bed with headphones on your head? Or in a nook because you don't have a good book? Or on a hike? Or on your bike? Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Just thanks for listening. You know the drill. This is At Your Level, and I'm your host, Ari Kelly.